Welcome to the Killshot MMA podcast. It's UFC 304 Edwards Muhammad 2 for the UFC welterweight title. And we got a co-main event for the interim, or fuck that, fuck you, John Jones, for the heavyweight championship of the world. Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blades. Technically 2, but 15 seconds. It's not really a rematch, but in the books, we will give it rematch status. Big card over on DraftKings. Going to break it all down, throw in some betting advice, talk everything daily fantasy. I'm Sniper. That's Monk. No Geek this week. If you want his thoughts, opinions, cheat sheet. I don't think he does a cheat sheet anymore. But he'll be in the Discord. Join DFS Army. Got to get in the optimizer. Tons of us were on the big hider, Emil Killshot, which I tried to give away in the podcast last week, but there was even more talk about it in Discord. Plenty of screenshots going around. You want to join? Link down below. Sniper gets you a code and a discount. Monk, are you ready for this 14-fight card, of which here on Tuesday night as we're recording, we have salaries for 12 of them. Thanks, DraftKings.
Yeah, I absolutely love when they do that, especially when there's current lines out at the time they release salaries. It's really cool. Yes, I am very much looking forward to this. 14 fights. The prelim should be exciting, high variance, and the main card, I mean, is fantastic, and everything in between should be great. So I'm really looking forward to this England card. Kind of interesting that they're making the English watch it. Like, fuck them. We're watching this on American time.
The timing, if you're just kind of piecing it together, I've heard a little bit about it. So we're keeping our pay-per-view times here in the same old that they always are. That's a 10 o'clock main card start time, right? That means that is 5. It's 5 hours. It's
5 hours.
3 a.m. And the main card, the main event usually walks around 12:30-ish. It's 5:30 in the morning. Fucking at that point, the hangover's worn off. Like you get trying to get the drunk fight sobered up.
Who's worse for the wear at that point? The English, who don't have to acclimate to any time change, but just have to get up and fight at 5:30 in the morning, or the guys that are traveling? It's going to be interesting to find out.
Yeah, it's a weird one. We also got to talk. We're going to talk King Green, Paddy Pimblett's on this card. A couple different places we can lose our shit. So let's go ahead. Let's just jump right into it. We will start with our main event. We'll go top down. Leon Rocky Edwards, the undisputed, and don't you forget it, welterweight champion, taking on Belal. Remember the name Muhammad. Belal, I remember when you were boring and a decent fighter, not trying aggressively to be a scumbag. Muhammad. I'll go into my rant here in a second, and I won't go. Don't worry, we're not going to talk. I'm going to stay away from the politics. As funny as it would have been if Geek was here to talk about some of this stuff, I would talk about Belal Muhammad and the shtick, but we're going to leave politics out of it. So everybody take the stick out of your butthole, unclench. We're just going to talk some fights here. Leon Edwards is a minus 250 favorite. Muhammad is plus 200. Line, the fight goes to decision, minus 200 to see a decision in your main event. DraftKings salaries, and then we can talk shop here. I believe Leon Edwards is 8,800, and he is. Belal Muhammad is 7,400. So what I said with my dig, or meant with my dig at Muhammad, he kind of walked the Colby Covington path. Everybody thought he was boring. He was good. He's underrated. He can wrestle. His striking has gotten better. I'm not saying he's not good. I'm definitely not going to say that. The difference, and then he started getting more outspoken and saying, I think, some ridiculous stuff and just trying to get attention, chip on it, whatever it may be. The difference between the similarity is the outlandish stuff, or kind of, he's gotten more outspoken like Colby. But the Colby stuff, at least to me, is clearly more WWE shtick. And I think it's funny. Whereas Belal's walking this fine line where, I think it's not as clear shtick. And maybe it is totally, but he's gotten weird. And his total revisionist fucking history of how he thinks the first fight went when he got eye poked in round 2. Yeah, it was a bad eye poke. I'm not going to call him Cody Brundage and a quitter. Like I'm going to check up there. It was a bad eye poke. Rocky was winning that fight. Let's come on. It didn't look like it was, I didn't see it. changing anyway. Bilal, I think, is out of his damn mind. So that's my commentary on the fight. In terms of what's interesting is this is one of those DraftKings fights. I don't really need to have an in-depth opinion on it to lock in because the odds tell you exactly how to approach this fight. You got minus 190 to go to decision. 5-round main event. It's a stack in cash games. I don't see any scenario where I'm not stacking this in cash games. I know it's going to be primarily striking from the favorite. If you want to tell me you want to make some pivots in that range off of Leon Edwards, I'll listen. But I think he wins, so I'm going to pick him 5 rounds. And I don't see a reason not to stack. And in GPPs, Bilal is the one more likely to make the optimal because if he wins 7,405 rounds, you're going to get there. He's probably going to grapple in his path to victory. He can get Rocky down. So he's definitely on the optimal in a win. I just think Leon's going to be able to maintain space, not get taken down, get a 5-round decision. May not be incredibly exciting. And Bilal's going to cry that Leon didn't want to fight him. Going to look like a little Chris Curtis in there after the Jack Manson fight. But Chris Curtis isn't even on this card. I got a chance to throw him under the bus. It's a good day.
Yeah, right.
So give me Rocky here. I kind of laid out how I'm approaching it in DraftKings. And the more you like Bilal to win the fight, the more you play him in GPPs. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm hoping Edwards is over-owned because honestly, he's had 5 straight 25-minute fights. One was technically 24 minutes, but we're going to call it 25. And his highest score is 91 points against Nate Diaz. He put up 84 against Usman, 78 against Usman, and 79 against Colby Covington. So this guy is scoring. He's in no way paying off his salary. I mean, less than 2 points a minute against Colby, both times against Usman and against Bilal in the first fight. And only 2.4 against Nate Diaz. So this dude is really not paying off his salary unless he's like 7,300, 7,100, which he was against Usman. Here he's $8,800. I really don't see him scoring a ton of points. Bilal Muhammad, he's on a very good win streak as well. He's barely scoring points other than that Stephen Thompson fight, but he's also not allowing points. I mean, Gilbert Burns put up 1.3 per minute. Brady put up 2.3, Luque 1.5, Thompson 1.4, and Maya 1.4. This is a long, boring way of saying nobody fucking scores points in these fights. If anybody's going to have a chance, I'll be on the Bilal side for DraftKings. I think at his salary, he's basically the only side you can play. So I'm going to take a chance and go for a fade on Edwards here. Even if this goes to decision, I mean, I'm looking at like 80 points against like 40 points, 30 points, if that. So I'm going to be a little bit contrarian and hope to get some leverage on what I think is going to be a low scoring affair.
Yeah, I should clarify. I think it's a stack because of the goes to decision odds, but the optimal is a much harder reach for Edwards.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk co-main event. Not a stackable fight. Tom Aspinall and Curtis Blades. The big boys going to get after it here. Current line on this fight. Aspinall minus 355. Curtis Blades plus 280. Fight ends into the distance at minus 1,000. Under 1.5 rounds, minus 175. Your DraftKings salaries. Tom Aspinall up at the top range, second most expensive fighter on the card at 9,400. Curtis Blades 6,800 on the comeback. Monk, what do you got for our co-main?
Man, this one is pretty much the exact opposite of what I just talked about. I had this bet online earlier as minus 1,000 fight finishes inside the distance.
Still is.
Play both sides of this one. And it's pretty obvious why, but we're here for a reason. So Tom Aspinall, obviously you get that extremely consistent early KO upside. I mean, he's constantly breaking well over 100 points, over 105 points with consistency. That's just what you want to see. And with guys like that, there's always the chance at that ever elusive quick win bonus. So we almost had one cash last week. Was it once or twice? I don't remember. At least once. Very, very close. Curtis Blades on the other side has all of the takedown upside. Well, 90% of it at least. He got taken down a bunch against Yelton Almeida. That's all Yelton does. But other than that, he's the one that should be defending the takedowns. He hasn't really landed too many of them. In fact, 0 since Yair Rosenstruck. But, you know, anybody with any kind of fight IQ would say, hey, this guy Aspinall is a huge, incredible striker. I have wrestling. I should probably try to use it and take him down. If he does that, 6.5 points per minute in Curtis Blade's career inside the distance. So he is absolutely paying that off. Both of these guys score incredibly well, 108 per win. Both of these guys give up a ton of points when they lose historically. So this is exactly what we want to see. Pair that with the minus 1,000 ITD, and you're going to play both sides. I have no problem playing Blades. In fact, his 6,800 salary is probably where majority of the value lays here. But I'm picking Aspinall to win. So yeah, I'll find a way to balance that out, but I'm going to have both sides rostered.
See, I think we're going to get slightly over-owned Curtis Blades because he's in the co-main event. He's 6,800. I know what happened with that Aspinall's knee injury. You know, I mean, he looks so good. He's got decent grappling of his own. We've seen the holes in Blades' game. I'm on the Aspinall side, and I'm actually considering getting leverage the other way. So it's. I get the Blades. I get it. It is a high variance fight. Not so confident in Aspinall. I'm going to play him in cash games.
Right.
He's
only stuffed 2 takedowns in the UFC. That's what I'm most worried about.
What I'm most worried about actually is, and why it's not an all-in fight, other than I'm picking Aspinall, is that if Aspinall gets this done in 2, and he's somewhat cautious, or he gets taken down in round 1, and Blades wins round 1, or he's cautious in round 1, 9,400 is no joke. I do not think this is an all-in fight. It is a play both sides fight. Probably a heavy exposure fight. You're asking me top of my head right now. I'm probably going to be sitting in that 50-20 Aspinall Blades range is what I'm thinking for GPPs and not touching in cash. But that's where I'm going right now, and I do think Aspinall gets the win at home, making Michael Bisping very happy, getting very drunk. And hopefully it's because they are all super sad. We got... I mean, what do I call him? Guys, what do I call him? Fuck it. I'm going to do it.
Call him by his name.
Everybody else refuses.
Call him by his fucking name.
I am a man of the people. Green. Green.
Speaking of controversial topics, Sue, I meant to bring this up at the beginning. We need to take 2 seconds to say, if you think that Leon Edwards fucking kicking a soccer ball through a hoop is real, I have a bridge to sell you. So please get at me. But yeah, that needed to be said. That shit is not real. Please stop saying that it's real.
Where's
Go
the
ahead.
bridge? Wait, you have a bridge to sell me?
Yeah, I do. I'll get at you after the show. Super cheap.
King Green taking on Patty the Batty Pimblett. Line on this fight. I'm glad I'm first for this one. I got some things to say because if anybody I like Curtis Blades. I like Chris Curtis last, but Patty Pimblett's close. Line on this fight we got to start with. It is minus 125 for King Green. Patty Pimblett plus 105 on the comeback. The King is 8,200. Pimblett is 8,000. And I have to end, of course, being sad here. But I'm going to start by saying, look, at this point, can we all agree that we know that Patty Pimblett's a fraud? Can we all know that, right?
I'm pretty sure we know that.
I mean, this Jared Gordon fight where I specifically, but everybody in DFS Army was fucking robbed. Stone cold, dead on read, and the judges just stole it from Jared. Not even me. I can cry, but Jared Gordon really got fucked in that one. God. You get King Green here, who clearly is on the decline. He's almost 38 years old. But he just did awful. Like he could very well be in jail for what he did to Jim Miller at UFC 300. That was a fight and a half right there. It's worth noting King Green has got really good takedown defense. 74% over a metric fuck ton of UFC fights. The last time he was taken down was by Islam Makhachev. Before that, it had been since 2020 against Thiago Moises, and that's like 11 fights ago.
Mm-hmm.
And people try and take King Green down. Like it happens. So, can Patty Pimblett hang on the feet? Maybe. the thing is, King Green does fight with his hands down, and is vulnerable to getting hit. Usually, roll, just a shoulder roll, boxing style. I just think King outclasses Pimblett on the feet, and I don't think that's up for debate. The problem is, Paddy Pimblett wants to grapple. That's what he's going to want to do. Can he get it down? 74% King Green is slowing down. He's not invincible. He's going to be in Paddy's backyard. It's a close fight. I lean towards King Green. The problem is, in the style of fight I just laid out, Pimblett's the one with all the DraftKings upside, and I fucking hate this orange short wearing motherfucker. But man, I'm feeling really cranky tonight. I'm a cranky old man. It's fun though. I do love King Green, so I'm not that cranky. I like who I like, but I can't let that get in the way of my DraftKings analysis for everybody and the DFS Army members. Close fight, but I'll have more. Despite picking Green, I'll have more Pimblett upside, because if he wins, he's the one more likely to score a submission, a finish of any kind. I don't think King is probably going to finish Paddy. He could late, but Pimblett's at the higher upside. He just does, and it makes me angry to say it. Monk, what do you got?
Yeah, I think you're probably right, but I also think King has some upside as well. I also am backing Green here because I just can't pick Paddy, but I'm trying to keep that out of it. I think King does have a good shot here. Look, Pimblett obviously on a nice win streak, but he's only scoring well against Luigi Vendramini and a completely, unfortunately, I hate to use this word with him, but washed Tony Ferguson, who gave up 7 strikes a minute to Paddy Pimblett. Other than that, Pimblett is getting landed on. Actually, where did that go? Oh, Green is what I was looking for. Green is landing 12.4 against Miller. We kind of got to throw that out. 5.3 against Turner in a loss. 12.7 against Dawson. That was super short. Throw that out. And then 9 strikes a minute also against I guess a pretty washed as well, Tony Ferguson. So both of these guys getting hit. Both of these guys throwing okay volume. But Pimblett only scores well, rather, when he wins against guys that constantly give up a ton of points. I don't think Green is necessarily like that all the time. I think he has moments. You never know what Green you're going to get. If he starts getting popped early, he kind of, like you said, keeps his hands down and just keeps getting popped over and over and over again and tends to give up points. So I like this fight overall from a DraftKings perspective. I don't want to. I'm probably picking Green, but I might be slightly higher. I don't know. I'll probably be pretty close to my ownership on both sides. The ITD here is plus 110, so nothing crazy either way. I want to see Green get it done, and I think either guy has potential to score well, but also either guy has potential to score like 70 or 80. So I'm not going to go crazy. I'll be in the high teens to 20s on both sides probably.
Now, let's go to a fight. I think we can all agree. I think this to me screams all-in fight. This is Christian Leroy Duncan, CLD, taking on Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez. Line on this fight right now. Duncan is a small favorite at minus 142. The comeback on Rodriguez is plus 120. Fight ends at a distance minus 220. I thought it would be higher, quite honestly. That seems a little bit low to me, but okay, I'm not going to make a big bet at that kind of juice. Duncan is 8,300. Rodriguez is 7,900. Monk, you get the pleasure of going first here.
So both guys actually score very well offensively. Should come to no surprise. Neither guy gives up a ton of points, which is my main concern. Christian, on average, scoring 107.5 per win. RoboCop 106. But when Duncan has lost, he's given up 81. And when Rodriguez has lost, it's a little bit more, but still not 100. It's at 95. So I'm a bit interested. While I want to just kind of jump at this one, I am a bit hesitant because we've seen Rodriguez, finish fights in the first round, in the third round, and not hit that 100-point mark. And at 7,900, he's not exactly a cheap underdog. In fact, he's the second most expensive underdog that we currently have. Now, he's paid off his salary against Chidi, against Julian Marquez, who were Marquez is probably fraudulent. Chidi was more of a one-hitter guy, and if he doesn't land that, then you've got problems, and that's exactly what happened in that Rodriguez fight. Duncan on the other side, he's slowly building up, beat Dennis Tululin, took an L to Petrosian. Kind of a close fight. He got outstruck there and taken down, out-controlled. So we're going to see. This is definitely a step up. for each guy. I just have a feeling this one goes to decision, man. So while I want to be on the all-in part, I'm gonna hold myself back. I just have a feeling with two strikers, two guys that, or maybe not two strikers, but yeah, two. Well, it is. I would say two strikers. CLD's got 3 knockout wins. It could potentially, be a little trepidatious between the two. So I'm thinking probably a decision, but I will have some decent ownership just in case I'm wrong. Because I'm looking at G-Rod's. I mean, there's been one fight in their last 9 fights total, the Petrosian fight, that has not ended in KO TKO. So maybe a little sprinkle on the fight goes to decision, whatever that is, and then just play a decent chunk of both sides for DK. I'm gonna pick CLD here, actually, in what I think is going to be a close fight.
Close fight, but this one to me just spells violence. I think these guys are going to stand and trade. They both hit too hard. I think someone's going down here.
Rodriguez is super hittable as well. I should have said that.
I just think this one's going to end in violence. Is my prediction for this one, which means it's a great GPP fight. It's a middle range salary fight, which I like for DraftKings tournaments. In terms of a straight up pick, this is a play plenty of both sides scenario. I'm actually going to lean slightly towards Gregory Rodriguez because he's got a little bit higher level experience in these type of firefights, but don't get it twisted. CLD probably deservedly the ever so slight favorite. I think it's probably should be a little bit closer. If I was lining it, maybe like minus 125, minus 130 CLD.
I agree.
Minus 150 feels a little high, but not enough for me to pull the trigger either way. And I expect violence, and I'll go on the Rodriguez side.
Like it.
Let's go to guy who surprisingly somehow Arnold Allen has said some of the funnier things this fight week, which is just
Did you see his official fight uniform?
Yeah. I'm gonna cover in a second. Yeah. So Arnold Almighty Allen taking on Giga Chikadze. Line on this fight, Allen is minus 250. The comeback on Chikadze is plus 205. Your fight goes to decision prop is minus 210. And your DraftKings salary, Arnold Allen, not Brendan. That guy got a dead animal on his head. Arnold Allen is 9,000. Giga is 7,200. So if you didn't see it, Arnold Allen is not happy about when he is fighting, making the walk at 3 a.m. Do not blame him at all. And then, you got Bryce Mitchell has got his camo shorts. They got the special shorts for Pineda in his last fight. Patty Pimblett's got his orange. And Arnold Allen has said that his official fight kit is coming out, and it'll be gray sweatpants with a piss stain in true British fashion. I read that. I was like, oh, that's actually funny.
So funny.
So, in terms of a breakdown for this one, Arnold Allen is coming off back-to-back losses against Movsar Evloev and Max Holloway. Giga Chikadze, I've been saying it for a while. I think he's overrated as fuck. His wins, Jeremy Simmons, a washed Cub. The Edson one is a good win. I'm not going to argue it. Got destroyed by Cater, and then decision win against Caceres. I didn't think he was that impressive, if I remember right.
It was extremely close on paper.
Yeah, so I've never been high on Giga. This is a great bounce back spot for Arnold, who looked good in the Holloway fight. Movsar did Movsar things, but he's still. You can see Allen's level in those fights. Fighting at home, needs a win. I think he's the play here. The problem is because of these prices and salaries. No thanks. I'm going to be underweight to the first fight of the pay-per-view card and see. If you want to throw a couple darts at Chikadze because he's super cheap, go for it. Because in that range, I really don't want to play any Brzeski or Bruno Brazil or Kiefer Crosby. You can make a case for Giga at least in the higher level fights. This is a higher level fight than any of the ones I just mentioned. So for that reason, unfortunately, Giga will get a couple shots. But I mean, for me, I'm thinking 10 to 12% maybe, and we'll move on from there. Monk, what do you got?
Yeah, I pretty much agree. Low teens. Look, I'm rooting for Arnold Allen. I'm a huge fan of this guy. I agree with what you said about Giga and not trusting him is a nice way to put it. But neither guy, they both score complete shit. Arnold Allen is 72 points per win, and that's with his 109.8 points he put up against Dan Hooker and Giga's not much better at 76. Arnold also, I guess, doesn't lose a lot, but he has lost twice in a row, averages 87 points to his opponents. Lost to Evloev, lost to Holloway. I think this is a step down from that. And I think he had moments where he looked impressive against both of those guys. Even against Evloev, I distinctly remember at some point in, I think, the second, maybe it was the third round, he definitely had moments. Giga, you mentioned Caceres. Look, he was minus 250 in that fight, and I think the only difference in that entire fight was actually Giga landed 3 more strikes than Caceres. There were no takedowns, no control time whatsoever, like 0%. So that was pretty much the only difference, and he scored 56 points in that fight. Arnold Allen's like, if you take out the hooker fight, he's 2.5 points a minute, 2.3, 1.3, 1.6. Giga's 1.7 against Caceres, 2.2 against Cater, 3.5 against Jamie Simmons. So long story short, I don't think either guy scores well. I'm rooting for Arnold Allen, but he's been 7,200, 8,200, 8K, 7.7. Now he's 9K for what? 80 points? That's crazy. So I think your percentages are right on. I'm picking Allen, but I'm fading this fight as a whole. Even in cash, Allen is probably too expensive.
Yeah, not for me. Let's go Nathaniel Wood and Daniel Pineda.
Of too expensive.
Well, you could argue that actually. Nathaniel Wood's minus 425. Daniel Pineda is plus 330. That's the line on the fight, obviously. The fight ends inside the distance is minus 250. Remember, we're talking Daniel Pineda. It's a different fight here for Nathaniel Wood. That salary referencing, Wood is the most expensive fighter on the card. He's 9,500. Pineda is 6,700. Monk, you are first.
Yeah, I saw this and I kind of just freaked out. I mean, we just saw Nathaniel Wood at 9K go 3 rounds with Muhammad Naimov and look like absolute trash. Scored 2.5 points a minute, ended up with 38. I mean, that's just unacceptable. Even in a win, we're talking 68 points if he wins that decision. Like I said, unacceptable. Before that, he beat Andre Fili, questionable because you never know what Andre Fili you're going to get. That was not the Fili that just fought Cub Swanson. He beat Charles Jourdain, who has a losing record in the UFC, and Charles Rosa, who probably has a terrible record in the UFC as well. So, long story short, and plus the injury history from Nathaniel Wood, I don't trust him. And unfortunately, at 31 years old, I don't know if I don't see improvement happening. That's what I'm worried about. So even against a guy like Daniel Pineda, who I think has never, ever, ever won a decision, he's got 28 professional wins, 0 decisions. I like the Pineda side. I'm definitely going to have a little piece of that as at least a punt. At least. I think you have to at 6,700. I guess you have to have a little Nathaniel Wood. I liked, who was it last week? Gibson. I liked him more at his price tag. I know it was 93, but I liked him more. A lot of people were shitting on him last week, and he absolutely paid that off. I like him more than I like Wood in this position for me personally. Pineda just went 15 with Caceres. Cub Swanson scored. I guess he scored a lot of points on him back in 2020. I don't know. I'm just going to have a less Nathaniel Wood than probably the field, I hope. And I hope it pays off too.
That's one reason why Giga's in here. I remember me specifically was trying to talk him off of Brian Kelleher.
Dude, yeah.
I didn't think Gibson was going to do that, but goddamn. Anyway, and Kelleher was relatively popular, I saw around too.
Yeah, there were some interesting popular plays last week for sure.
Nathaniel Wood, look, he's a big favorite here for a reason. I just think he outclasses Pineda everywhere. Pineda's got some power, so I won't full fade him. I actually think Wood is cash valuable. I think he's just better. There's probably a couple other safer spots on the card. I don't like Daniel Pineda here. He got finished by Cub Swanson. Alex Caceres doesn't finish fucking anybody. His wins are Tucker Lutz. I don't know. I think Pineda walks forward and leaves himself open, and that benefits a guy like Wood. Like I said, Pineda's live for a finish. I'm not going to full fade him, but he's also a 39-year-old, featherweight. that's a problem. That's not good. I like Wood. 9,500 is a tough pill to swallow, but it's one of those I'm going to swallow more than most. I'm going the other direction. I think Wood's actually going to be a relatively lower owned, most expensive fighter on the card as everybody just jams in Aspinall instead. I'm going to try and get a little bit over on Wood. I'll look at the ownership projections of DFS Army, and I'm planning on being over on Nathaniel Wood. Not all in fucking over, just like a touch over.
In that breakdown, you said the words wood, swallow, and jam in ass. Congratulations to you. That was quality. That was really quality.
Fuck you, Chris Curtis. Moving on.
Whenever we can.
Whenever I can. There's new listeners going, what the fuck is he talking about? What is happening? And
Chris
you know what?
Curtis knows.
Yeah, he does. He does. No, he doesn't. He thinks he's justified. No. I'm a troll, which is just crazy. All right, we got to talk about Molly McCann. Can somebody update this bitch's Tapology picture, please? I mean, this got to be old as shit, no?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, take it on. Bruna Brazil, your line on this fight. Molly McCann is minus 350. Bruna Brazil is plus 255. Your fight goes to decision prop is minus 120, so 50-50 to see a finish. The most impressive thing, actually, hang on. Sorry, I got to finish. Molly McCann is 9,200. Holy shit. That's too expensive. Bruna Brazil is 7,000. The most impressive thing about this fight, what I was going to say, is the UFC found somebody that Molly McCann is minus 350 against.
Yeah, that's wild.
That is good matchmaking, Sean Shelby. Good job. or Mick Maynard, whoever it was. Like, just golf claps to you. Now it's weird. We have to kind of consider it because Bruna Brazil was decent on the regional scene, but she's looked horrendous in the UFC. Molly is aggressive. We've seen her get finishes. Two subpar fighters in a high volatility fight. I'm going to mix in Brazil for that reason because Molly's shit. Like, you remember the time that they sent her against Erin Blanchfield? Remember how fucking in MSG? How fucking hilarious that was. Granted, that's whole other levels. This is a low level fight in the middle of the card. I'm taking Molly. I don't want much to do with this fight, and don't fade Bruna because this is just gross all around. And honestly, here's the problem. Bruna Brazil's a better play, in my opinion, than both Kiefer Crosby and Lucas Brzeski, who we're going to talk about. And that is who is one spot more expensive and one spot less expensive. And that's gross. What do you got, Monk?
So gross, and I completely agree. Bruna Brazil's only won against Shauna Bannon, who's fighting on this card, and that was her debut fight. And she only scored 71 points. She put up 1.7 points a minute against Loma and 1.8 against Denise Gomes. They were both debuting in that one. Look, man, I came in here wanting to just shit on McCann and be like, oh, Bruna's the side. She's so cheap. How could you pay 92 for McCann? She sucks. Well, like you said, they both suck. This is extremely high variance, very low level. Betting on this is going to be super fun and interesting if you're into that whole thing, minus 350 straw weights. But look, man, McCann scores. Who did we talk about this with last week? Scoring very well against shit opponents, and that's exactly what happened. This is Molly McCann. She put up 119 against Belbita, 110 against Hannah Goldie, and I'm not going to call Carolina a shitty opponent, but she scored 110 points against Carolina as well. I'll call her maybe a bit subpar, not shitty. But yeah, this could happen against Bruna Brazil, who's giving up 8 points a minute against Gomes, 2.5 against Bannon. And so she hasn't been giving up a ton, but Bannon's not high volume. Loma Lookboonme's certainly not high volume and only landed one takedown against her. McCann will come forward and is super aggressive, like Sniper said. And so those numbers allowed from Brazil could easily change. So it sucks, man. 9,200 for McCann. Unfortunately, that is a risk I'm probably going to take a little bit of, but don't sleep on Brazil. Like Sniper said, I'm going to have both sides. Brazil as a punt, and at this salary, 7K, it's easy to see why. But yeah, I guess my pick's McCann, and I don't like it. Don't like it.
Talk about things I don't like. I have to make a case for what I think is one of the strongest dog plays on the card, And I don't even know his fucking salary. I'm gonna adjust my microphone real quick. Gotta get serious here. Ah, fuck. A limp dick microphone today. What did I say earlier? Wood, swallow, in the air. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, something about in ass. You did say in push in Aspinall or something, but I just cut it off. So
Calvin Laughran, Irish guy. Take it on Jake Hadley. All right, Laughran is the favorite here. Current line is minus 200. Comeback on Hadley is plus 165. Your fight goes the distance is minus 220. And your DraftKings salaries, this is one of the ones we do not have. Laughran's going to be about 9,000-ish, and Hadley will end in around 7,200-ish. So, Monk, that being said, you are first for this fight.
Yeah, I want to fade it. I don't know that I can full fade it. Also, it wasn't Hadley he's at bantamweight. So that is a very interesting wrinkle to this. Hadley stepping up to bantamweight, I believe on short notice. I cannot remember who Laughran was supposed to fight on the top of my head. I'm sure if Sniper scrolls back or down, we can find out if it's even that important. It's probably on the page before this.
Yeah,
I think
it's on the
I have to say, anytime Jake Hadley, I automatically want to fade him because he has one of the worst nicknames I've ever seen. White Kong, just god awful. But when he does win against Carlos Candelario and Malcolm Gordon, he's scoring well. I think Laughran might be a little bit better than those guys, but I don't think by a ton. I don't know, man. I want to fade this one, but something tells me that
don't fade it. I'm going to make a case for you. This is not a fading. This is not a fading fight.
Yeah, even at what plus 180 is the ITD here. I don't think you should be fading this one. It's too high variance, especially with Hadley moving up a weight class. I mean, this guy's losing to Alan Nascimento, Cody Durden, and Charles Johnson all by decision. I'm thinking Laughran
good fights.
Yeah, they are. I'm thinking Laughran decision, but yeah, nobody's scoring well in those fights is the problem. So Laughran decision
didn't score well?
is going to be my pick. What's that?
Laughran didn't score well in his
no
fight?
in the Hadley decisions. Johnson,
gotcha.
Durden, and Nascimento. So yeah, I'm going Laughran decision. What is if the salary's as low as you said? I guess there's a chance to be had with Hadley, pun intended. But moving up a weight class, I'm not super excited for. Actually, he always looks like shit on the scales at 125. Yeah. So maybe this will actually work for him. So just don't full fade it.
This is my case why I think it'll be a little more aggressive than that. Aside from people who are putting in their lineups now are not going to have even access to these two, which is hilarious.
Hopefully by tomorrow we will. I was waiting today. I checked like 4 times.
Laughran, when he wins, or actually in his 2 fights, he's got multiple takedowns in both fights. He got a loss to Taylor Lapalus, where he got 2 takedowns, and his win, he got 3 takedowns against Angel Pacheco. Jake Hadley, 35% takedown defense. You say, wait, I thought you were going to pick Jake Hadley. I'm going to get there, unfortunately, but it's because Jake Hadley is getting taken down by Cody Durden and Alan Nascimento, and even Carlos Candelario got one. Although then I believe in that fight, Hadley submitted him off his back in the second round. He got taken down by Mitch Raposo, but had reversals in that fight. Like he can grapple. The main thing here, so if Laughran wins, I think he grapples and scores pretty well. If Hadley wins, 7,200 is so cheap. It's a similar scenario to what we talked about Bilal. A win's going to get him there. Even if he's striking, I think he's going to be just fine. And Laughran,
the only thing that would stop him is a salary around that range, scoring crazy well. Yeah.
And he's still at minus 180 to see the cards. It's a good cash punt at 7,200. I'll go one further, and this is a massive step up in competition for Laughran. Don't get it twisted. And he's a big favorite. I'll take the guy with more experience in UFC, even with losses, but again, Nascimento, Durden, and Charles Johnson. Whereas Laughran, just look, I mean, not the Tapology rankings are gospel, 76th in the world in bantamweight, 24th in the world of flyweight. Who's the more experienced guy? I get they're up 10 pounds. Hadley ain't going to be that much smaller. Fuck it. Jake Hadley, I got to see what they're going to look like body type-wise. He's an inch taller and 2 inches longer.
Yeah, maybe he should be a bantamweight, man. He always looks awful on the scales at fly.
Give me Jake Hadley. I'm taking him for the upset here. I think he's going to be either able to reverse Laughran, get up enough, and I think he's better on the feet. I'm going with the best nickname on the... No, I won't sell it that hard. I'm going with White Kong, though. All right, let's move on. And that's why you shouldn't full fade that fight.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Modestus Bukauskas, taking on Marcin Prachnio. Line on this fight. This is where some of the orders on fight odds get weird. Minus 155 for Bukauskas, plus 130 for Prachnio. Fight goes to decision, minus 150. And your DraftKings salary, Bukauskas, who every time I say his name, I got to just not say Bukaki. Like I have to really not saying it. Is 8,500. Prachnio is 7,700. Two big guys who don't throw a lot, and it's minus. This is like a heavyweight fight being minus 150. Another light heavyweights, but it's strange. This one actually becomes not a great fight to target, unlike the last one. Bukauskas is probably a little bit higher volume, a little bit better technically. Prachnio, whenever he wins a fight, honestly surprises me. Bukauskas got cut from the UFC, made his way back, then picked up a couple wins. Tyson Pedro, Zach Pauga. Vitor Petrino's no fucking joke in that division, as long as he's not shooting for no reason and getting himself guillotined. I think he's just a little bit better, but I'm not sold on the DraftKings upside in this one, but I will have Bukauskas. Monk, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm probably picking Modestus as well, and I really do not like this fight as a whole for DraftKings. Modestus per win scores 68.3 points. That's the worst number on the entire card. He put up 56 against Pauga and 51 against Tyson Pedro, so he doesn't really do shit. Prachnio scores 10 points better, but that's still a terrible number at under 79. So, yeah, I'm not really looking forward to this. Bukauskas overall, 1.45 points per minute. That's 1.4 at distance and 1.29 inside the distance. So all around fade for Mr. Bukauskas, unless you think he's going to KO Marcin Prachnio, who, let's see, has happened 3 times in the UFC, but not recently. So went 3 rounds with Petrino, got subbed, and went 3 full rounds with Felipe Lins. So, yeah, I think a long, boring decision. Winner scores, God, I was going to say 75, but that might be generous. So, yeah, I'm picking Bukauskas, hoping to get a pretty full fade on this one. 8,500 is wild, and 7,700 for Prachnio is a bit easier to swallow, but still not looking forward to playing that.
What are you swallowing now?
Let's see, I said that on purpose.
and I look, I'm gonna get a BP fastball. I'm gonna turn on it.
Exactly, gotta have it.
Right. Let's go with Oban Elliott taking on Preston Parsons. Oban Elliott is the favorite in this one. The Welsh gangster, which is, I think, actually no, he's the dog. Sorry, Oban Elliott's the dog in this one. The Welsh gangster's plus 120. Parsons is the favorite at minus 142 right now. A little bit of line movement, it looks like, towards the Oban Elliott side. Your fight goes to decision prop is actually fight doesn't go to decision. It's slightly favored now, minus 135. Monk, you're first for this one.
Yeah, this one's interesting. I'm going to look to play a little bit of both sides. Both guys score surprisingly well, so I'm hoping that's going to work to my advantage. People see a guy named Preston and a guy named Oban that they've probably never heard of. The casuals, I mean, not you guys watching. I mean, everybody else that plays DraftKings and doesn't really know the fighters. Although some of those YouTubers out there really can't even pronounce any of these names, which I find frustrating and hilarious, but that's a whole nother show. I'm hoping that both these guys get overlooked because they both score very well historically. I know it's a very small sample size for Oban Elliott, and yes, he should have finished Valentine Woodburn, but he didn't. But he still scored 102 points that week, so not terrible. Parsons averaging 4.5 points per minute, 5 points per minute inside the distance, which is what I will be looking at here, and 111 per win in his wins against Elder. And then Semmelsberger, he put up 114, so that was fantastic. yeah, I'm hoping this one's going to be a little sneaky because of the names, because of the prelims, because there's 26 other fighters that these people could possibly be rostering. So yeah, and I'm going to pick Preston Parsons, man. Honestly, I'm not going to use the word impressed, but I'm not going to like call this dude a scrub or anything like that. Like I like what I've seen in the Parsons wins. The guy seems to fight for your money, which is one of the most important things when it comes at least to the betting side of thing. Oban Elliott likely does the same thing. I mean, he's naming himself after Chael Sonnen, so at least he's a hard worker, and you might not want to listen to him on the mic, but that's you don't have to. But put up almost 5 strikes a minute against Valentine, landed 3 takedowns and 60% control time, guys. So long story short, the scoring opportunities are there. The salaries are decent at 86 and 76, and the hope that these guys go overlooked due to their name value and the name value on the card is there as well. So give me Parsons. Hopefully he's under-owned, both guys.
Okay. We skated by some of this Val Woodburn fight that I need to point out because something named Valentine Woodburn both knocked down Oban Elliott and took him down twice.
Yep.
Like Oban Elliott, that was not an easy fight for him.
Not at all.
It was supposed to be. It's super concerning. Oban Elliott's got 0% takedown defense in the UFC. And granted, Brito didn't try and get one, but he won by majority decision on the Contender Series. Was tested way more than he should have been against Val Woodburn. Yep. Now he's got a guy in Preston Parsons who, like you said, the guy wants to grapple and wrestle. Took down Evan Elder 4 times. Took down Semmelsberger 7 times. This has got some DFS upside here. I like Parsons quite a bit for DFS. You got a guy who wants to grapple in a favored price tag, but he's not 9K. He's under 9K. You get a minus 135 end into the distance prop. All good things for DFS. I like this fight quite a bit, and you can run back Oban Elliott because he is undefeated. He does have some power, clearly improving. Will fight for your money. He faced adversity in that Val Woodburn fight that he shouldn't have faced, but he came through it fine. I like this fight quite a bit. I'm more on the Parsons side if you want to tell me which side is sneakier. So give me Preston Parsons, probably one of my leverage plays in the card because I don't think anybody's going to own it. I do think it's going to be sneaky.
I'm hoping.
We'll see. Watch him be mega chalk, but that's where we're landing right now.
I don't think so.
Speaking of mega chalk, who had this fight falls all the way to the early prelims?
I had this fight falls off the card.
That would be nice. Muhammad Mokaev taking on Manel Kape. Mokaev, who's the favorite right now?
I think Mokaev still.
Where the fuck is it? This is throwing me off right now.
125 on Tapology.
Why don't fight odds fucking have it? There we go. It's up to minus 145 for Mokaev, plus 115. The comeback on Kape. And I couldn't find it because they've been dancing this fucking fight all over the card.
Yeah.
Fight goes to decision, minus 200. Who's first for this one? Me or you? I don't even remember anymore.
I think it's me because who just talked? No, you just talked about.
Yeah,
you go first.
It's me. All right. I hate Mokaev. I hate Muhammad Mokaev. He's got this weird. He's very hyped, and then he hasn't looked great. Like he's had those moments against Jafel Filho. Remember against Alex Perez? Didn't a lot of people think Perez won that fight?
Possibly, yeah.
I don't remember. I don't want to.
It would have had to have been because he subbed Tim Elliott in the third. So yeah, I'm just
remember if I'm remembering the fight right, where people scored it for Alex Perez. Trying to remember, yeah, because there was the one. There was not a lot of takedowns. It was 29-28 across the board.
Mm-hmm.
So weird. Yeah, Mokaev was 3 for 20. That's right. He was 3 for 20 shooting takedowns.
Perez must have scored 200 points on Prize Picks.
Takedowns defended. FanDuel too, I think. Oh no, they got rid of that. Regardless, this fight, Mokaev wants to grapple. Kape, on the other hand, I was also about to pull up his takedown defense because it's relatively good, 77% in the UFC. Kape's on a 4-fight winning streak. Came in with a lot of hype. fought Pantoja, a guy from Ryzen, fought Pantoja, Nicolau right away, lost those fights by decision, then got back-to-back finishes. I want to see how that Felipe Dos Santos loss ages. Not great based on his last, win against Victor Altamirano, but still, Kape is a better striker. He's got good takedown defense. Mokaev seems to be struggling as he's getting towards the top of this weight class. It's another scenario where I think I'm going to pick Manel Kape, but Mokaev in his wins probably scores massively in that he scores better, at least, in that he gets takedowns. I don't think I did the salaries for this fight, by the way, because I couldn't find the odds. Mokaev's 8,400. Kape is 7,800. So it's kind of, we had this breakdown a couple times in this fight. I feel good that I've given a couple all-in spots or overweight spots like the Rodriguez Duncan fight, Parsons spot. We're going to talk about that one still. There's a couple other ones I think we're getting ready to jam in on. This is kind of a vanilla bland spot. I think I'm probably going to go about a little over field weight to Mokaev and a little under to Kape, even though you asked me for a straight pick, it's Kape. I don't see how Kape breaks the slate. I don't think he's going to get a quick finish of Mokaev. I think it's going to be a typical Mokaev fight. The problem is Kape for flyweight is so fucking explosive that he could finish Mokaev. He is lightning for this 125-pound division. So I know I'm wishy-washy on this one. Kape is the pick, though, and I hope Monk is right in this fight, falls off. What do you got?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, Kape, he's got to make weight, first of all. And there's all kinds of weird things going on, with this fight in general, like you said, being moved down the card, like way down the card.
Twice, I think.
Twice, yeah. And there's rumors of, like, UFC doesn't like Mokaev. They don't want to re-sign him. This is his last fight, I think, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know, man, but we'll just stick to what we stick to. And the scoring was fantastic for Mokaev out of the gate. I mean, scoring 120 points, paying off the most expensive salaries a few times in a row. Then he went down a tier to scoring barely 100 points while still being 97, 96. Then he was 9,100 against Perez and scored 73 points. So I don't know if we're falling down as he rises up in the ranks, like you said, but Manel Kape is definitely not a step down. He's scoring very well in a couple fights, but against Dvorak, he put up 71. He put up 91 against Santos, which is usually fine, but he was 9,300 that week. And he's not a super cheap underdog, as he shouldn't be this week, so 78. I agree with what you said. I don't know, man. I'm probably have more Mokaev in GPP, just like you said, for the takedown upside. If you're playing Kape on Prize Picks or whatever, somehow find a way to work in those takedowns defended into your maybe into the score. Play his score if that's an option. Maybe this week they'll have both sides. Last time they did a pay-per-view, they had the all fighters for Prize Picks, not just the favorite. So
that is nice.
Try to get in on that if they have it. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to have more Mokaev than Kape, but I think Kape has more winning equity, likely in a decision. So I'm just nervous about how that scores. So give me Mokaev, slight fade all around, I think.
All right, let's go to Sam Patterson taking on Kiefer Crosby. I mean, we're getting towards the bottom of this card. Sam Patterson is a big favorite, though, minus 375. Crosby is plus 295. Fight ends inside the distance, though, minus 600. Well, that's interesting. That should perk your ears up just a little bit here. Yeah. Your DraftKings salaries: Patterson 9,300, Crosby 6,900. Monk, what do you got?
Well, that's a very interesting number, and then you go a little deeper. So Patterson, so the whole thing, fight doesn't go, is minus 600. Patterson to win inside the distance, minus 225. Crosby plus 325, which is still, not a terrible number, but there's an obvious discrepancy there. So you quickly realize that all of that minus 600 is them thinking that Sam Patterson probably comes out here and absolutely smashes Kiefer Crosby, who is, or Patterson rather, is the third highest salaried fighter on the entire card. Last time and only time we've seen Kiefer Crosby was against the Frenchman Kevin Jousset. who's fighting out of City Kickboxing, I believe, and he put him away within the first round, scored 106 points in that one, landed 8 strikes a minute, did Kiefer Crosby, but he ate 6 strikes a minute and got taken down and out controlled there. So Patterson, I mean, looked terrible against Ashmuz, just didn't barely even last a minute. And then flipped the script on Johan Linnaeus. Thank God, because Johan, pretty low-level heavyweight, and that's putting it, or welterweight, and that's putting it nicely. And Patterson scored 98 there with the sub. So the sub is absolutely live against Kiefer Crosby. He's been subbed twice in his pro career, 2 out of his 4 losses. So yeah, I like Patterson. I hate his nickname. Everybody's nicknaming themselves the Future, and I can't stand it, but that's another show. Patterson's 9,300. I think it's a good GPP play this week, and I have next to zero interest in Kiefer Crosby, who hopefully did not nickname himself after BTK. I want to know what BDK stands for before I go picking Kiefer Crosby in anything.
Big Dick Cuck? I got nothing.
I don't know. I mean, that'd be better than the BTK guy for sure.
Look, I'm gonna kind of read from my notes here because I like the way I put this. Hey, hometown guy who wants to grapple. Meet young guy who got subbed in his UFC debut. Like, it seems, again, matchmaking, which is, hey, it's this hometown guy. He wants to grapple, not get knocked out like Schmooze did. Hey, this guy Kiefer Crosby, Kevin Jusette took him down and subbed him immediately. Let's set that fight up. That looks good. Like, Sam Patterson is being set up for a win here. He wants to grapple. Big favorite. To me, he is my core 9K play. I'm going to, again, be in deep shit early in this card. I'm going to know one way or another. I'm reading through it. I like Sam Patterson more than Nathaniel Wood, more than Tom Aspinall because of the ownership perspective.
Yeah.
Definitely more than McCann. We're going to talk about in a second here, but relatively close to Mick Parkin. Parkin Aspinall is pretty close at 9,100, but we can get there in a second, and more than Arnold Allen, who doesn't score well. So I'm all about Sam Patterson here. I think he grapples, think he gets a finish. Deep GPP only shots on Crosby for me. Not much interest there.
Interesting fact also, Patterson, one of the only guys in the UFC that could get guillotined twice at the same time.
Wait, what? Oh,
look at this boy's neck. It's insane.
Gotta work on those traps. Let's move on. Let's talk Mick Parkin. I don't know if he has a neck. Taking on Lukasz Brzeski. Line on this fight right now. Parkin is at... It's one of the fights that got moved, so this is pissing me off. Fuck you, fight odds in this moment.
I thought he was overall, like -2.
Where the hell is the fight?
They split them, dude. So it's like 2 different.
Wait,
I had him earlier at like minus. Where did he go? Minus. Oh shit, 283 is what he was earlier.
Oh, because he's under Michael Parkin. God damn it.
Oh,
minus 278 for Parkin. The comeback on Brzeski. That's a bad move on me. Plus 225 on Brzeski. Fight ends inside. Fight goes to decision minus 165. That is why probably Patterson's a little bit higher up the food chain for me. But overall, I don't think I did the salaries here. Let me backtrack for a second. Mick Parkin is 9,100. Brzeski is 7,100. And again, I know it's heavyweight. I feel pretty good about Parkin here. Brzeski is what? 1-3 in the UFC, and the one guy he beat was Walter Walker, who's in because he's the brother of Johnny Walker. Mick Parkin's legit. 9-0. Why I like him? He's got grappling upside should he choose to use it. I think he's probably the better striker. I know he's the better grappler. I don't really know where Brzeski wins this fight. So give me Mick Parkin. The problem is he could choose to kind of play it safe and score 80 points. He could do that. Or he can go get takedowns and score 115 with a first round finish. Would not surprise me either way. I think Mick Parkin's relatively safe. I do like Patterson more, but I won't have many shares of Brzeski. Monk, what do you got?
Well, even if Brzeski sucks going forward, I want my props as picking him as my kill shot and an outright winner against Walter Walker. He was only in hindsight, it's obvious he was $6,800 that week. I mean, come on.
That was oops.
And he would have been optimal if it wasn't for those pesky kids. No, somebody around him scored like 101 points. I think it was maybe Kyle Nelson. Doesn't matter. Who cares? Unimportant for what we're talking about. I completely agree. Love McParkin for cash this week. Lucas Brzeski was taken down 4 times by Walker, and he worked himself. He was controlled for 50% of that fight, worked himself back up. And he was taken down 8 times by Carl Williams, controlled 68% of that fight. The only time that he has not given up a ton of points per minute, which Walter Walker, not a ton, 3.7. He gave up 5.4 against Acosta, and he gave up 6.6 against Williams. He only gave up 1.7 against Boudet, but that's Martin Boudet. You got to beg that dude to fucking do anything offensively. And Mick Parkin's hopefully not that guy. I was kind of hoping he would not get bunched in with the Martin Boudais, with the who's the other slow white heavyweight Thomas Peterson, who actually I think looked okay. But I was hoping he wouldn't fit in there. So I'd love to see him come out and just land a ton of fucking takedowns against Brzeski, or one takedown and some ground and pound and get a round 1 finish somehow. So yeah, I like Parkin. I'm going against my better judgment of guys that score terribly when they win, which Parkin is definitely one of those guys. He averages 70 points per win, like just awful. But I'm going against my better judgment here. I like the 9,100 salary because of the opponent in Brzeski. He gives up a ton of points. Hopefully he'll do that here.
All right, now we get to talk about the last fight of the podcast. First fight of the night, the cure for the will to live, Shauna Bannon versus Alice Ardelene. Holy shit.
I didn't put a picture of Ardelene up there.
Oh, I lost my sharing here. Ooh. All right. We're back. God, there they are. Okay. I get
no
through
salaries
this.
Here. No salaries.
Ooh. Bannon is minus 175. For some reason. Ardelene is plus 130.
Well, she's fighting an OnlyFans model.
Over 2.5 rounds, true. Over 2.5 rounds is minus 210. What we know about Ardelene, her highest level of competition is let's go ahead. Let's look at Alice Ardelene from Romania. 9-5 as a professional. Let's see. Last wins 0-3, 2-0, 0-1, 3-4. Holy shit. But made it to the second round against Weili Zhang back in 2016. Weili Zhang was 5?
Weili Zhang likes to play with her food. That just means she couldn't last any longer than 9 minutes.
So, yeah.
She lost to Diana Belbita. Christina Stanciu.
By split decision, though. Ooh. So, yeah, not high quality competition. Where Shauna Bannon looked not good against Bruna Brazil in her UFC debut, and was beating what? Oh my God! Why is this ruining? Why is this on our card with it's a lot of money on the line in DraftKings, and we got to deal with this show. We don't have salaries yet. I'm guessing Bannon's going to be like 8,600, 85-ish, maybe 87, somewhere in the.
You're paying 77 for Alice Ardelene.
Or 776, 75. So yeah, Monk, you get to go first for this one for some reason. But
holy crap! Well, if you guys are interested, definitely Google Alice Ardelene. Likely at this point in 2024, the first thing that comes up will not be her Tapology page. So either I'm sorry or you're welcome for that.
It comes up TV personality.
Well, there you go. I was thinking, this is she is and as she herself.
Wait, who the fuck is this bitch? I didn't know this. She's got 580,000 Instagram.
You don't know
followers?
Who this is?
No.
You know who Aylin Perez is, who's out there twerking all the time?
Yeah.
Aylin Perez wishes that she was Alice Ardelene. This girl is a self-proclaimed OnlyFans superstar. I'm not saying she's not, by the way. This is her words. She has...
Shouldn't she have a better ass? What's happening?
She's going to have a hard time making straw weight if she still looks the way that I remember that she did. No, I did not subscribe to it, but I do know what she looks like. Yeah, she's just look her up on Instagram. I mean, it's got to be all over the place. Yeah, she realized she had a gift during COVID and used it to her advantage. Now, the last time we saw a true OnlyFans fade was Ashley Evans Smith, and I don't mean people like Aylin Perez or Hannah Goldie or whoever. I mean girls that have stopped fighting at one point and have exclusively done OnlyFans. That was Ashley Evans Smith, and she got her fucking ass worked on for 3 rounds straight, and whoever fought her put up a gigantic score. So while Shauna Bannon
you
sucks,
said an OnlyFans model got her ass worked on.
yeah, I know. We're killing it today, man. While Shauna Bannon sucks, Alice Ardelene may not be UFC caliber like at all, so there is a chance Bannon could do something, but either way, I'm not looking forward to playing this fight. Never would I bet it. Never would I touch it in cash. Yeah, this one's gonna be
3 million TikTok followers,
dude. I'm serious. She like. Have you ever seen an Ice Spice video? This is her nickname. Should be like Alice Spice. She's like Alice Spice.
I'm not good at pop culture. I know minimal.
Well, bro, let me just say, I am a 40-year-old man, but she throws that thing around, then that thing is thangin'. All right, it's all over the place.
What is she swallowing everywhere. Baseball bats with her ass? What the fuck are you doing for 3 million followers?
Bro, she's got a talent. I don't know what to say. If you're in the comments, definitely let us know, because I remember I
got to dig into these videos, I guess, because at first glance it doesn't look that impressive.
Well, I don't know, man. I haven't seen her recently. I'm talking about like COVID times, like a couple years ago. That thing was all over the screen, like everywhere, throwing it.
All right. Well, there you go, guys. That's all the analysis they have in this fight. I will be playing Shauna Bannon because she's a real fighter, and this chick is not.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's where I'm going to leave it here. Yeah. Play Shauna Bannon. Don't go crazy because it's still expected to go to decision. Gross fight.
Yeah.
Can't believe we got to fucking deal with this. Really, really can't believe we got to deal with this. That being said, let's move on. We broke down all 14 fights. Hit the like button. I want to see you in the Discord to get more picks, plays, get the optimizer. There's tons of shit in the Discord, guys. Just come and check it out. We're also sweating fights. People usually get drunk and are saying funny things in there. So just be a lurker. Get involved in the conversation. Either way, links down below. We got to talk kill shots. Kill shots is an under-owned play that we expect to break the slate. Who's going to help you win in GPP? I had Hyder Emil last week. I'm riding high. I'm feeling real good about that one. And now I got to pick a guy I don't even know his salary, but give me Jake Hadley.
Fair. I don't mind that one. There's only 2 true kill shots, in my opinion, and one of them sucked and one of them's fun but also sucks. I'm not picking Bruno Brazil. I am instead going to pick the cheapest fighter on the card, Daniel Pineda. I think Nathaniel Wood is washed. I think Pineda can still land a shot, and that's what we're going with. All these other, I'm not picking. Can't pick Blades. Not touching Crosby, Brzeski. Chikadze's not going to do shit. Can't pick Muhammad. Elliott, Prachnio. It's Pineda. He's got the best upside.
I would have made the argument for Oban Elliott in that fight overall, but I get it. After that, I guess Pineda. But yeah, point taken. All right, guys. UFC 304, 14 fights, a little over an hour. Not too bad this week. Gonna break it all down. Monk, you got anything? Or we did break it all down. Monk, you got anything before you get out of here?
Yeah, I'm bringing back the nickname show this week probably, so check us out on Way Past That. Also, you've been on Bankroll or Bust. We've got a huge show this week. I've got returning champion. I can't believe I
wasn't invited to this big show. I can't believe it.
We've got DFS by the numbers and then GC from the MMA Hour coming on as well. So be sure to check that out. Really looking forward to this entire card as well. So my notes should be up if I'm ambitious tomorrow morning. So that's what I'm hoping for.
My notes are already up, and I will be checking my email for the invite for the next.
There you go. You will get one.
Yeah, I'm still pissed how I lost the first one. For those of you who don't know, turn back the clock. I lost because our Ariane kind of Carnolosi and that disqualification.
DQ.
That's how I won. I won my first episode, and I couldn't retain my title because of a disqualification. which is great timing to talk about the Bilal Muhammad card. And
Yeah,
the
right.
eye pokes. May no one's eyes get poked.
Yes.
May Bilal Muhammad's head end up in the second row. But Leon Edwards could make me a huge fan if he does the same thing he did to Kamaru Usman. Like,
yeah,
I will say, I will go buy, if he does that, if he knocks Bilal out, I'm going to go buy a significant piece of Leon Edwards merchandise from somewhere.
nice.
I'll get a poster of some kind. I don't know. I will support Leon Edwards.
Go kick a basketball into a hoop nonchalantly.
Exactly. I mean, he celebrated afterwards.
Not real. Driving me crazy.
Why are you so mad about video editing?
Driving me insane. Remember that? Yeah, Steph Curry also made 3 full court shots back to back to back. Remember that? That happened.
Do you remember? Have you seen the infamous David Beckham kicks a ball into a beach garbage can video?
Yes.
You think that was real?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, come on, man. No.
All right, guys. That's what we got for UFC 304. Smash that like button. Share with your friends. I'll see you in the Discord. Good luck. We'll see you next time.